Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I'm your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, business positioning strategist, and author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 74 countries. So whether it's your first time joining us or you've been listening to us for some time, I want to thank you to those who are listening from around the world. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformation. Here is where we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing. We highlight that transformational moment that changed our lives and how we use it to then transform others and elevate their lives as well. You can listen to us live right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network, and you can join our Facebook group, Life Transformation Radio Community. Never miss an episode by subscribing wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. Life Transformation Radio can be heard on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Player FM, Radio Public, Overcast, CastBox, the Himalaya app, and Google Play Music app. Basically, wherever you listen to podcasts, Life Transformation Radio can be heard. While you're there, make sure that you leave us a rating and a review to let us know how we are doing. On the show, my guests are entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, podcasters, authors, basically amazing human beings that are impacting the world around them. And my guest today does exactly that. If you have any questions for any of the guests that I bring on the show during our live broadcast, call us up at 657-383-1109. Again, the number 657-383-1109. And with that, please help me welcome to the show my guest for today, Holly Porter. Holly, welcome to Life Transformation Video.
Oh my gosh. Hi, Sean. Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me.
I'm super excited, super pumped to have you on the show. I was on your podcast, which is absolutely amazing. And now you get to be on my show.
Yay! We do a swap.
So, absolutely. So the title of this episode is Living in Prosperity with speaker and serial entrepreneur Holly Porter. Holly is an influencer, international speaker, 12-time #1 best-selling author, and prosperity strategist. She is a highly successful business expert with experience ranging from boutiques, real estate, fundraising, spa and salons, daycare, and even a concrete company. Holly has successfully ran 9 startups and has a unique gift of connecting others and helping them find purpose and success in business and life. Holly has served in many capacities as president or chairperson in her community, namely Rotary International, Chamber of Commerce, Utah Summer Games Board of Commissioners, Downtown Retail Alliance, and several women's organizations. She amplifies service above self and believes giving to and serving others is the way to prosperity. Her website is Holly Porter, Porter, hollyporter.com. Her Instagram and LinkedIn are right there, and you can check out her virtual business card by going to bit.ly/Holly V as in Victor, Holly V card. All the show notes, all the links are right there in the show notes. Click on those. Let her know that you heard her here on Life Transformation Radio. Holly, the first question I have to ask, and which I believe is the absolute most important question that you must ask yourself every day when you wake up, is why? Why do you do what you do?
Oh, wow. That is a loaded question for me right now. My why has changed a lot over the years. I mean, the big thing is your normal, I'm a very family-oriented person. So, really everything I do is surrounded around my kids and my family. I have 8 children, 10 grandkids, 2 more on the way the rest of this year, by the end of the year.
Wow.
And, so we do, and I'm from a family of 9. So I think last count we were well over 100 in my immediate brothers and sisters and kids.
Wow. Jeez almighty. That's crazy.
That I would say, yeah, that's got number one for me, you know. And so everything I do I've got to ask that question. Is it worth taking my time away from what's really important to me to build something better or more so that I can have more time with that, you know? And so, I mean, that's the easiest answer.
Well, we have 4 children, my wife and I, and that's great. That's enough. You know what I mean? I kind of wanted one more, like I kind of, right? But then we get to thinking about it, like how economically smart, if you will. Because if we had 9 kids, or even if we had a family of 9, we had 7 kids plus me and my wife, we would have to have 2 vehicles everywhere we go. Like I don't think they make a big enough vehicle to fit, 9 or 10 or, however many. And we're like, do we really want to? I mean, right now we have 1 extra seat in the van, which is great. And the kids kind of have their space. But if we were on long road trips, then the kids wouldn't have their space. So we kind of like, I think we're good with 4.
Yeah. You'd have to rent a motorhome. We have an RV that we use as a rental, like for an Airbnb, where people take it and they go out on trips. And it sleeps 8, so you could shove a couple more kids in there if you had to.
Right.
But you have to drive that around everywhere.
Awesome. Yeah. I love it. So the whole theme of the show is talking about transformational moments. And I don't believe that life is all sunshine and rainbows. It can be a very mean and cruel place to be. But what happens through those transformational moments is what I like to highlight on the show. So if you could tell us a transformational moment that's happened in your life that has put you on the path to what you're doing today.
Wow. I've had a lot. I've had a lot of experiences, in business, personal and business life, marriages, all kinds of things. So I can share everything, what not to do for sure. And that being said, and it is just a story. I just want to preface it. It's a story.
Sure.
To me, it's all behind me. But what really pivoted my life, gosh, it's been 6 to 8 years ago, depending on which one I grabbed from. But I ran for political office twice. So one was like 6 years ago, one was 8 years ago. It was a city council position and then the mayor position. And after the city council one, which was first, like I was suicidal. Like it was just so life changing. I was a shoo-in for the position. I had groomed myself for it for a long time. I'd never prepared so hard. And I fell hard when that happened. I mean, I had a plan and I turned around and 2 years later ran for mayor and in the same town. And I mean, my computer was hacked, my phone was tapped in this town. And I'm like, I think what was so hard for me, they called me the heart candidate because I actually had one. And I found that money and power weren't my motivators. People were. And it's really challenging to win a political election if money and power aren't part of your motivation. And that's my experience. I mean, some may disagree with that. However, when that happened, after the mayor one, I was driving my car to work and I had gone and served. I did tons of service and I had gone and served at the high school for registration and stuff. And I didn't even have kids in school anymore. Like that was the day after the election. Why I did that, I have no idea. Anyway, it was hard to hold it together. And I'm driving to work and I'm crying and I'm just like asking God, like, why? I know I was supposed to do this, but why? Why do I have to feel like because I lost, and so to feel that you're a loser. And honestly, I just started belting out the song. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. And I'm singing it and I'm crying. And I'm like, okay, God, I get it. This isn't my journey. This isn't where I'm supposed to be. Whatever I needed to learn from this, this be it. I'm done. Line in the sand. I'm not going here again. And
Right.
I really dove hard into personal development and, started coaching. And of course I had a salon and spa, so I had been coaching behind a chair for 30 years. And trust me, that's plenty of experience, I guarantee you. But anyway, that was probably the moment for me to answer to that question. Was that it was like, wow, I've never been able to have something so hard, to deal with. But yet now that loss was my biggest win ever.
Wow. I've thought about that, wanting to be part of the Chamber of Commerce, or wanting to be part of maybe city council,
Mm-hmm.
or being mayor, because there's a lot that I absolutely don't agree with in some places, like where I live now. I don't know, it's so weird, but they have clusters of everything. Like, they have something called Restaurant Alley, where you drive
Yeah.
down one road and there's like 30 something restaurants on that road, but there's
We
not a
call
whole lot of
burger.
restaurants everywhere else. Or
Yeah.
they have a Dick's Sporting Goods across the street from a Dunham's Sporting Goods.
Yeah.
Or they gathered up all of the car dealerships in the city and put them all in one area. Like, this guy had built, because they had different dealerships. The one guy owned like a bunch of them. They have, in this one corner road, whatever, there is a huge dealership complex, and then there's one across the street, and there's one across the street on the other side, and then it's at a four-way stop, and there's nothing but dealerships right there. It's like I don't get. And then they had like a mattress firm across the street from another mattress firm, but there was a mattress firm like down the road, like at the next.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on with this place? Like, why are they building so much stuff, but they aren't building like a youth center, or they're not building
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they want to build like a like Kmart closed and Sears is closed. So instead of taking like the Kmart building and building like a Dave and Buster's, like a video arcade for like kids to go to and like hang out, they built a tool store. I'm like, what
Right.
the hell? Like,
Because they don't make money. I watched it. I mean, I organized helped charter with Rotary International 4 youth groups. And that's the challenge, is they don't make any money. People are so about money.
crazy.
I will say one thing too, when you were talking about putting the clusters of the same type of businesses. So when I had my salon and spa, in 19 years, I moved 4 different locations because I grew and I just outgrew my location, which is a good
Sure.
challenge to have. But I'd always put another salon in my location when I left. And people would always say, why would you create competition? And I'm like, you know what? Because people that know me and know I have good customer service are going to follow me. If they don't, that's fine. They weren't my ideal client. And if
Right.
it just helps to create competition, I believe competition makes everyone better. And what's
Yep.
wrong with everybody being better?
Yep. I 100% agree with that. Yep. Absolutely. And to your point, the competition is definitely a great thing, but it makes it that much funner, I guess. For me, it makes it a lot more fun. Because if you have, like, for me, there's a lot of entrepreneurs like where I live, and so we have meetups. Like, what's working for you? What's working for? Oh, that's a great idea. Like, oh, that's awesome. And then then you create a mastermind, and then you become, known, and so you're known as, this one person, this one thing, this, this business, or that, and we've done that. We've done like different entrepreneur, meetups, at a networking space, and said, let's have an entrepreneur night. Let's have a business night. Let's, whatever. We had a bunch of podcasters that got together. It was like, what's working for you? What's not working for you? Like, what's going on? I never believe that the market is so capped, like in your local area, right? I never believe the market is so saturated, because if you're going to have the best customer service and the best service, or whatever it is that you're going to have, if you're going to do it, differently and better at the same time than everybody else, then you win.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I that scarcity mindset of, oh my gosh, competition is just,
Yeah.
you can see it a mile away. You're like, yeah, you're not going to last, buddy. You're not going to
I
last.
work with publishers, and so I have a group of a bunch of publishers, and we mastermind. It's amazing, and I don't look at them as
Yep.
competition because that's how I've learned some of my best stuff. I just look at
Yep.
it that they're good mentors and partnerships for me, right? Because
Yep.
it's like me. I've done books with doctors that are way smarter than me intellectually, maybe, and maybe physically knowledgeable and everything else, but they don't know how to write a book and they don't know how to publish a book. So I'm the
Right.
expert in that, and so we all need to just share in our geniuses and, don't be an expert in everything. Pick your
Yep.
road, your path, and stay on it. Damn it.
Absolutely.
I'm telling
Absolutely. I
that to
100%. I absolutely agree with that. So often, and there's a bunch of, air quote influencers out there where 2 weeks ago they were a speaker, they were a highly profitable speaker, and then this week they're in CBD oil and Bitcoin, and then next week they'll probably be in something else because a month ago they weren't a speaker, they were just a business entrepreneur kind of guy, telling people how to run businesses. Now all of a sudden let's build you a speaker business, and then this week I've seen this from a lot of people. I'm like, I thought you were this other thing. Like, oh, now I'm in this. Now I'm into CBD. Like, you got to get into CBD. Oh my God, like, what is? You got to pick your lane. You got to stay in it. You got to position yourself. And if you don't, then the market will position you. And if the market thinks that you're a flaky entrepreneur, and you keep changing your niche, like, every week, then you're not going to be trusted. But you got to be positioned as something, or the market will position you.
And I think that goes with just figuring out what is really your purpose. What are you passionate about? What do you want? I think a lot of people, they don't know what they want. I've had lots of different businesses, but I haven't been flighty about them. I've gone into them,
Right.
I've started them up, I've built them up, and and I've usually sold them, or I've just made them so small, then I move or whatever. I mean, it just depends on what's going on. But that's when I rebranded to Prosperity. I did that on purpose because I am known for a lot of different things, and I a lot of times have 3 different businesses at once, but I can juggle that. A lot of people can't, and it doesn't mean I do everything. I just find the right people to put in place. Think about, most millionaires have a minimum of 7 streams of income. I teach people to have multiple streams of income. If I'm not modeling that, why would you believe I could help you do that?
Yep. Oh, absolutely. 100%. I absolutely agree with that. I've got 6. And even then, one of the income streams is a book. And so maybe I bring in, like I sell a couple books a week, maybe, like, I don't know, but it's still a stream that I can pull from. And if I really market that thing out, then it will pull more money, but at least there's a stream. But I have other streams that are really pulling it in. So yeah, definitely set up those streams. And I totally agree with you. Multiple streams of income. And there's the horizontal income that makes you money while you're sleeping, which is like the book, the courses, the things that we talk about. And then there's the time for dollars one, where you're actively coaching somebody, or you're speaking on stage, or so there's, oh my gosh, there's so many different ways that you can get income set up, streams very, very quickly. So let's talk about one of those. And I mentioned it, the book. So you are the organizer of a book called Highly Sought After Speakers, which I am super blessed and grateful to be a part of. Talk about that. How did you come up with it? What's the premise, and what's the plan moving forward? How can we get it?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm excited that you're in it, Sean. So tomorrow's the big day, and since we'll be airing today, then I can say that, right?
Yep.
So Yeah, so tomorrow, anytime during the day, probably during the day would be best if you're in the United States, but you can buy it anywhere. I plan on, pushing it to #1 international bestsellers. And so that's the goal. We've got a campaign set up for that going, and you can get it for 99 cents. And so hop on over to Sean's Facebook page, probably be the easiest place to grab it tomorrow. I'm not giving the link out yet because I want you to wait till tomorrow so you can get it for 99 cents.
Perfect.
But we can post, if we just send them to your Facebook page, is that okay?
Yep, perfect. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm going to be posting it all day long.
Yeah. So there's
it all day long.
speakers. There's 15 speakers in there who are already speaking and paved the road, and they're just, everyone answers the same questions in the book. And so they tell you just, I don't know, their experiences, their blooper, their 3 must-read books they have in there. I always ask that. That's kind of a signature of mine that I ask in all my books. And so people seem to enjoy it, even if they're the same books in a lot of people's. But, yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Oh, yeah. I'm super excited, for this because you, like we had talked about, you always learn. And so I cannot wait to read. And I know a couple of the other speakers that are in there. I know Lori McNeil, we've been talking, for a while, and she's super great. And I can't wait to read her, chapter, and then the other speakers, because I like to grow and learn. And I think that when you get next to amazing people, then you can't help but grow and learn. They always say that if you're not growing and learning and all that other stuff, if you're the biggest fish in the room, you need another room. You need another circle of influence. So if you're
the biggest one in the room, that's my favorite.
You right?
That's when I learn and grow the most.
Right? Yeah, I never want to be the best in the room.
No.
As much as that must sound amazing, I'm not gonna grow as fast if I'm above or I know more than everybody in the room. It's great to be that influencer, but at some point you have to come and be the tiny little fish again.
Yep.
And then you'll start to grow because everybody else is at another level and you can't stay at that level. And that's what I believe, that prosperity really comes into play, because if you're not growing, if you're not learning, then are you really becoming that success that you want to become? Nobody wakes up and says, I just want to be kind of successful. I don't really want to be all the way successful. So I want to be a little bit prosperous. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. Like, everybody's dreaming about that $1 million lottery ticket. Everybody in their heart of hearts is saying, I want to be the best that I can be. Nobody wakes up and says, I only want to be half good. I don't want to be all the way good. I don't want to be amazing. I just want to kind of suck, just a little bit, just nobody's saying that, right?
So true. No, it's so true. Well, for creators, I want to say something that we're doing, because I will have, this is a volume 1 of this book. So if anyone listening is interested and they are speaking and they want to be, spotlighted as a sought after speaker, excuse me, reach out to me, because we'll do another volume, probably launch it at my March prosperity event. So I have a lot of, and if you want to be creative and get your own, book or program started, so you can, like Sean said, make some passive income while you're sleeping. In June, I have a writer's retreat in Ireland. Not a writer's retreat. No, it's a creator's retreat. Sorry. I want to say it's a writer's because that's what everyone else does, but I can't do what everyone else does. Mine's a creator's. Right. So it's to create whatever you want for passive income. We're going to brainstorm, mastermind. We're there for a week. It's going to be amazing.
That's amazing. Okay, so you've really given out a lot there. Where can they learn more about the events, and where do they sign up?
I think the landing page isn't up yet for the Ireland, but it's close. If you just reach out to me, email me at holly@hollyporter.com. Just let me know you heard me, talk about it and you want more information, then I'll get it to you. It's
Perfect.
June 20th through the 27th for that.
Perfect. I love it. I've been to Ireland before. It's absolutely beautiful, amazing. Definitely one of those bucket list items that you must go to. It's absolutely amazing. We did years ago, back in the early 2000s, we had done a backpack trip through the hills of Ireland and then went into Dublin, and it was one of these what do they call it, excursion, or they dropped you off, like you landed, and then they got you in a van and they like drove you out to the country and was like, here you go. And you had like a tour guide, and so it was like a 2-day thing, you know what I mean? They had tents and everything, and it was like 8 or 9 of us, and you had tents and stuff, and you slept one night out in the wilderness, and then you just hiked all day to the, into the town, into Dublin. It was not really a town; it's a pretty big city, but you just got to the outskirts of that place, and then you got to wherever your destination was. We had dinner, and then they got us in a van, drove us back to where we were going to go, and to the hotel, whatever. So it was just a really cool kind of, getting to the wilderness kind of hiking retreat, whatever. That was I like that a lot. That was pretty cool. They have one in Wales too. Well, at the time, because I was in England, I was living in England when I was stationed there in the military, and they have one in Ireland, they have one in Wales, and they have one in Scotland. And so we did the one in Ireland. I don't know what they do now, but that was kind of the outdoorsy getaway, type, events or whatever that they were doing. So anytime you can get out there, it was amazing. So talk about your podcast. I like how you set up your show and the topics that you have. Very, very cool. I listened to it. I've learned a lot about what it means to be successful, what my version of success is. That's really the big takeaway, is like how do I become, number one, how do I become prosperous? How do I live in prosperity? But what is my version of success? So talk to us about your show.
Yeah, my show originally started out to be interviewing. I have a book series called The Rules Books. So the first one was the 40-40 Rules, Wisdom from 40 Women Over 40. And so it was the same as the speaker's book. It was set up as a question-answer format. So all of the women answer the questions. And so we interviewed them, if they chose to, on my podcast. And that's when I launched it about, 2.5 years ago. And so that it started there. And then we did a 30-30 book. And then we did another version of the 40-40. So a lot of my guests were that. And they weren't necessarily, they could be, most of them had their own businesses. Most of them were entrepreneurs, but there were some doctors in there. There was some corporate people in there. So it became a very broad variety podcast. And then I rebranded during that to Prosperity as my brand. And now, I focus more on people just that are doing maybe more outside the box type income streams, just different things, because one of my books is called Inbox, Outbox, Unbox, No Box, 4 Steps to Delete Your Box Thinking. So it's, that's what I'm about, is that there's no box containing us. Like, the whole world's out there for us to figure out. And I think that's the challenge with what you were talking about and sharing earlier about people jumping, because I just don't think they do figure out, what is, and I myself, to be quite honest, have struggled with that over the years. Oh my gosh, what do I really want to do when I grow up? Well, first of all, I'm never going to grow up, okay? If it's not fun, I'm not doing it. And so, with that in mind, it's like, okay, if those are what I lead on, then what's fun for me? Because to me, I never have had any kind of a job. I've been an entrepreneur for years and years, but when I have had jobs, if it wasn't fun, I never lasted. I can't do something to me that isn't fulfilling, that isn't some kind of service-based for me. And so I think that's what I built it around, and that's what I look for, is those type of guests like yourself that, they just want to serve people in a bigger way. They don't always make it. We hear it all the time. It's not about you. It's not about
Right.
you. It's about them.
Right.
And it's challenging because when we are a guest on a podcast, it kind of is about us, right? And so it's hard to shift sometimes. You've got to know where that happy balance is of when it's a brag, And so what did I ask you? Do you remember the question I asked in the sought after speaker book at the very end? Brag?
So the very end is what was it? Give me a humble brag or something that someone should know about you.
Yeah. Basically, brag about yourself. Like when someone gives you permission to do that, it's totally different. Just like if you want to give someone your opinion on something, ask them for permission. It's really hard for them to get upset with you if they gave you permission to say whatever you're going to say. So in the book, we wanted to just lay that out there. Like, no, we want you to brag about yourself because this is about you. I wanted the people in the book to be able to use the book so they could get more speaking because they are speakers. Stand in that, let people know, and that's why we titled it Sought After Speakers, Behind the Stage Stories. So that was the whole idea, and I'm sure it'll build on that.
Which is funny because I answered it by saying I really try to stay as humble as I can and try to give as much as I can. It was just, it was, you're right. And you nailed it. Sometimes we're just and we all know those ones that are like, everybody look at me, I can't, 10 years ago. Yeah, totally. Like, look at me. Like it's all about me. But over the years, and you go through enough transformational moments, and you have enough moments that knock you down, and you eat enough humble pie, you really start to take notice and go, listen, it's not all about me. I'm here to serve. I'm here to give. And I love these debates where people go, well, I am serving, but when I sell all my stuff, I'm serving. I'm like, that's your opinion of serving. That's cool for you, but it's not my definition of serving because you don't get paid to go serve at a soup kitchen, and you don't get paid to go serve at church, and you don't get paid to go serve by, I don't know, helping the homeless or serving like on a school board or like those are, when I think of serving, I think of number one, volunteerism, and number two, serving your audience in the best way possible by giving the most amount of value. It's all about giving. Nobody says I'm serving by being paid. Like, I don't know, like, can you imagine if we took the words that we use, I serve by giving, like I'll give a free resource, or I'm giving of my time or of my money or whatever. If you heard people start going, oh yeah, I serve all the time by getting paid, everybody would be like, wait, what?
How does that make sense?
It would throw people. So yeah, I get it. Like, we need to serve our audience and we should be paid for it. Like, I totally understand that. But I hear it too much.
Yeah.
Oh, I am serving by selling. Like,
Well, and I think as a lot of people, when you think about the biggest thing you can give someone is your time.
Yep.
And that's what we're always trying to get more of. Everybody always wants, I don't have enough time. When I was in Rotary International, I was one of the first women presidents in my town for Rotary International. And it was a service club. And the people that came in to take and just want leads, that's not what it was built around. It was built around giving. We did international projects, we did local projects. It was a very prosperous Rotary group. Anyway, they weed themselves out, you know what I mean? But when someone's willing to give you their time, so when someone offers like a strategy session or whatever, and people, roll their eyes at that, do you realize that's their time they're giving you? That's better than any PDF that they could send to a million people. But if they're willing to give you some time, honor that.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. And I do those. Most people call them discovery calls, strategy calls. I just tell them, like, look, we're going to have a 30-minute no obligation call. No obligation. I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm not going to, pitch you the entire time. No obligation. We're going to have a no obligation call. And usually I'm like, hey, we have 5 minutes left of our 30-minute call. You can keep, we can use the last remaining 5 minutes however you want. But I want to let you know that if you want to go deeper with me, I do have programs, products, and services that are available for that. And sometimes they say, no, I'm good. Thank you for your 30 minutes. I'm like, hey, if you need anything, let me know. And then the other times, a lot of times they're like, man, this has been so eye-opening. This has been amazing. What else do you have? I'm like, well, this is what I got. And, they become clients. So, yeah, don't ever discount somebody's willingness to give 30 minutes or 20 minutes or 15 or whatever. Even if you think it's a sales call, like somebody's giving you time, it's up to you to honor that, or you just don't take the call. So, don't think that they're, oh my God, I'm just going to be sold the entire time. Some people, that might be their case. They're just to get you on the phone, just to sell you. But for the most part, you could tell the real people that have a servant heart, they're in it to make lives better.
Right. Well, and build relationships. And, I really want to touch on live events because I was having a conversation with somebody else this morning earlier about, that people they're not wanting to go to live events because they can get on the internet and Google and find out whatever they want, or Facebook Lives or whatever it is. But that we're missing the boat, people. Like, there's huge connections. Yeah. When I have people stand up at my events, so my last couple have been in the 50s of people, and I literally have them stand up there in Las Vegas. And the first one, there was only 3 people that were local. Everybody else flew in. Then the next one, 6 months later, there was I think 12 that were local. And I'm just saying, the point is, people are coming still. They are going. But that's an honor to me to have that many people actually get on a plane and take 2 days and come. But they come back because they know I'm going to put good people in the room. And those relationships they're building, it's not all about the money they're going to make when they come to that event. It's the relationship they're building for long term and that sustainability. People don't realize they want to jump in and make the fast buck. But if you can't sustain that, which you won't if you're only in it for fast buck, you're not going to be prosperous.
Yeah. Oh, I 100% agree. I've been to some events that have been extremely profitable in the way that I've built many relationships.
Yeah.
And months or even a year down the road, we either end up doing business, or they've introduced me to people I've done business with, or in some form or fashion, it has absolutely been an amazing relationship. Whether I've got a friend who's in my mastermind with me, and we bounce ideas with each other all the time. Throughout the week, we're like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think? And we met at an event, and we became really close friends. And we give each other our time. I'm like, hey man, if you got 10 minutes this week, let me know. He's like, oh, I got 10 minutes right now. What's up? So, man, I really don't know about this, or how do I do that? Or I can't find it on the internet. Like, I'm Googling it. Like, how do I do this? And it'll be like, oh, just click here and do this. I'm like, dang it. Thanks. But then he does the same thing. He's like, man, my podcast, what do I do with this? And how do I do that? I'm like, oh, just do that, do that, do that. He's like, it seems so easy. I'm like, it is. So, we build these relationships, and that's why I love is going to events to build relationships.
Oh, me too.
100%.
And I want to add with that, if you're listening to Sean right now and you're liking what he's saying, as far as I wish I had somebody I could do that with. Because I have several I can do that with, because I've built those relationships, and that know, like, and trust factor is there. It's not about exchanging money as much as it is our time and the relationships, because of the levels we're at, right? So I always tell people, if you don't have that, find 4 other people and start your own mastermind. You don't have to charge for it. Find people at your level or above that you can do a weekly call with for 1 hour, and it will amaze you.
Yep. And that's what I started doing. That I said, I want to start a mastermind, for people that are trying to achieve whatever level of success that it is that they think that they need to have. So I gathered up, 4, 5, or 6 people. I invited 12 people, only 4 showed up, and we rolled with it. We rolled with 5 of us for months. And then I said, okay, on the first, it's every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. I said on the first Wednesday, I'm going to invite everybody in, whoever wants to come in. I'll invite anybody and everybody. But then the other weeks, it's just going to be us. Like it's going to be like our core group. But let's start inviting. Then it started growing, and it started growing, and started growing, and then I do that every Wednesday. I was like, come in, like let's like everybody, like whoever, you know what I mean? And otherwise, it's part of the package. Like when you become a client of mine, I just say, hey, also, not only do I have calls with you, but into the mastermind, join us for our weekly group call. And so we have these huge group calls, and we just sit there and like, what are you working on? And what do you need help with? There's only two questions. We don't sit there and BS. It's like, what do you need? What are you working on right now? Go. All right. Take about 5-10 minutes. What are you working on? Okay. What do you need help with? Okay. Awesome. Next. And then go to the next person. And we go to the next person, and everybody gets a turn, and we've learned to just go super fast. Like no big stories. Like, okay, guys. So here, listen to this. It's like, look, what are you doing right now? You know what I mean? And so everybody's like super quick in and out, and then we have time to like, okay, what's next? Like, what does everybody need? So we're making connections, we're growing, and everybody's just podcasts have been made, businesses have been started. Like it's been so amazing this past year to see what happens when you get into an amazing group of people like that. It's amazing what could happen.
So true. Yeah. So that challenge on, right?
Challenge on. There you go. So, Holly, as we start to close the show, I want to give you a moment to shamelessly plug whatever it is that you want the listeners to know and to do. So this is your moment to talk about your programs, products, services, whatever it is that you want the audience to take action on. Here you go. Shamelessly plug. Go.
My turn. Oh, okay. I'll take it. Oh, okay. Well, the big things we have coming up are the book launch tomorrow for the Sought After Speaker book. If you want to be part of that project, there'll be another one coming up for a volume 2. Get a hold of me. And then in a couple weeks, oh my gosh, like 2.5 weeks, November 1st and 2nd, I have my live event in Las Vegas. So we were just talking about live events. So if you want to like take action, get to Las Vegas, November 1st and 2nd. I don't think you'll be sorry. We have some amazing people. If you go to prosperityevent.com, we've got everything up there until the 17th. You can get early bird pricing, which is only $197. And that includes food for 2 days, guys. Like, okay, really? You're not going to get an event with this kind of content and food. And then in June, March again, I'll have my prosperity event. That's going to be March 13th and 14th. It'll be the same domain, but different dates after this one. And then June, I have the Ireland retreat. So there's kind of a lot coming up. In between that, I have grandbabies being born, and I've got a daughter with cancer that's pregnant. So we have a lot on our plate right now at our house. But it's okay because you know what? God is good, and we'll just keep moving forward. And there's so many ways that we can become prosperous. Prosperity is not all about money. I'm prosperous in love, in life, in friends, in, kindness. I mean, you name it. I feel like every day I get up, my feet hit the floor, and I'm like, what's next? Here we go. Let's go. So that's me.
Love
and if you like any of that, I'd love to have you come and join some of our stuff and connect with me. HollyPorter.com or Holly@HollyPorter.com is my email.
There you go. Love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much for spending time with us. And I look forward to tomorrow. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm going to help to blow this thing out and send it off to as many people as I can. And whatever I could do to support you, Holly, I'm in. You have my vote for all that. So absolutely, honored to be connected with you. I see all the amazing things that you're doing, and I wish you the best.
Thank you so much, and you as well. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Life Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest impacting the world around her. If anything resonated with you today, go and check her out at hollyporter.com. LinkedIn and Instagram links are right there in the show notes. Stay tuned for tomorrow so that you can get your hands on the books, highly sought after speakers. It's launching tomorrow. Stay tuned and go and subscribe to her show as well as my show. And with that, I close the show by saying, live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. I call this living your brand. So until next time, live a great life.